Very special and lovely guest, the one and the only, Jacinda Ardern.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for coming here. Welcome to Point England. I'm A.
And I'm Nadia.
And before we get started, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come to this small interview with us.
This is like quite a big interview. We've got a lot of people watching. We've got a big audience today.
We've got some questions for you that we thought you could answer for us. Before we start, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very happy to visit the school and to join everyone for lunch. So I've had a really nice morning. Thank you.
How is your family doing?
My family's really well. We have to move around a lot, but they're used to it. But I'm very lucky that I get to work with my family with me. Yeah.
Speaking of your family, we saw Neve on the news from Waitangi Days. How do you manage being a mom and Prime Minister at the same time?
Well, there's lots of parents and caregivers work and also look after their children. And so I feel like I just get to experience the same thing that they do. And I know it can be really hard because you don't like to be away from your children. But equally, I have lots of people that help me, and that makes all the difference. So I think I'm very, very lucky.
What is Wellington like?
Wellington, do you know what? When I fly from Auckland to Wellington to work in the Beehive, I always notice it's colder by quite a lot. It's often windy, but it's a really cool little city. I don't get to see much of it. I'm usually just in the Beehive, but I also love Auckland.
What is working in the Beehive like?
Whenever you're in the Beehive, you're surrounded by all of the history of it, and you're reminded that lots of other people have done the job before you, and that you're very lucky to be doing it. So I feel very privileged to work at that desk and be on that 9th floor.
Why did you decide to give out free lunches?
When I was really little, I lived in a really small town where I remember when I went to school, I noticed that not everyone had lunch. And so even from a little girl, I noticed that, and I never thought it was fair. And even as an adult, I still think that everyone should have, the same chance at life, and no one should be hungry. And so now that I'm a politician and I get to do this job, I wanted to change that. And so also there's lots of things that makes it a lot easier for families who are really busy. It means that we can provide really yummy food, and that people, our young people and our children learn really well when they're not hungry. So there's lots of good reasons for it.
That's really amazing.
What is your favorite thing about being a Prime Minister, and who's your role model?
My favourite thing is that when you see things that you don't like, that you think aren't fair, you get a chance to change them, and that's pretty amazing. My role models, though, are really simple. My mum and dad. They're lovely, amazing, kind people, and so they're my role models.
That is very sweet. What is your favourite song and why?
Oh, my favourite song. I have lots of favourite songs. I have songs I like to dance to a lot. The moment I listen to songs with Neve. So at the moment, my favourite song is the one called Tidy Up Time, because when I play it, Neve cleans up her toys.
Has being Prime Minister been a dream of yours since you were young?
No, I never thought I would be Prime Minister, because so few people get to do that job, and I just didn't think it would be something I would do. So no, it hasn't always been a dream. I thought I would do something else, but now that I'm here, I feel very, very lucky.
A random question. What is an item you cannot live without?
Oh, sadly, it's my phone, and it's because that's my connection to my job. That's how I make sure I know everything I need to know, and people can get hold of me, so I can't do without it.
Yeah, that's very reasonable.
What is something you are most proud of?
There's lots of, what we would call policies and programs, things like food in schools that I'm really proud of, that I know will make a difference. But actually, I hope that even when I stop doing this job, people think about leadership a little differently. I hope they think that you can be a leader and talk about kindness and empathy and looking after one another. And if that's what happens after I've done this job, then I'll be proud of that.
What would be some advice for someone our age who wants to become Prime Minister one day?
Well, do you know that, first of all, that you can do it? I worry that too many of our young people think that they can't follow their dreams when they can. They just need to believe in themselves. So believe in yourself. That's often the biggest barrier we have, is how much confidence we have in ourselves.
What has been the most challenging part of leading the country through the COVID-19 pandemic?
I have wanted to make sure everyone was safe. And that means having to make the right decisions at the right time. So that's the challenging part. Sometimes you don't know if you're making the right decision. But what I keep reminding myself, I'm never doing it alone. There's a team of 5 million helping.
Thank you for your time.
We loved interviewing you today, and you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you. You asked some great questions, so thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.